orientation is locked. Why? Hold on. My orientation is locked. So I can't do. They already got your boy. Why can't I do sideways? Hold up. Hold up. They got me. They got me. So I have to. They're making me change my phone orientation to straight up, which I don't know why they do it like that, but it is what it is, bro. They won't let me go sideways, so we're figuring this shit out. Should have tested this before, because now it's just like, why can't I go sideways? Who the fuck is blowing my phone? Crazy. Okay, there we go. That's better. Now we're in live. Okay. Let me straighten my base out. Okay. Let's do it. I'm live. I guess. I hate that it makes me go straight up instead of sideways. But I'm in the chat. Hold on, let me pull up the chat. So now I can see everything. What's going on, man? I'm going to answer your question in 2 seconds. And then I'm just going to be pulling off Reddit. Okay. All right. What was my height at 16? I believe I was the same height as I am now. Like, I'm almost positive that I was like 6'2"-ish. Or, yeah, I think I was pretty maxed out around that time. But I'm just going to answer questions. If you got a question, throw it in the chat. Yeah, I'm answering questions here too. I'm pulling them off Reddit. I'm answering them here. Like, whatever you want to do, that's what we doing. This is my first time like doing a YouTube live, so I've been live before. I actually like it because it feels more real than like, you know what I'm saying, just like tapping video. But let's get it situated. So the first question I got, I love basketball, but but I hate shooting. That sounds like a lot of NBA players. It says, basically, I go out every day to practice basketball, and I decided to really improve my shooting. How can I improve my aim? Play on a wet court. Doesn't help. Use glasses at home, but not on the court. Maybe that has an impact anyway. Need to do it. So if you hate shooting, it's probably just because you're not good at it. I think a lot of people don't like things they're not good at. Like, that's just reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't like golf. I fucking suck at golf. I bet if I got good and I was like, okay, I'm seeing some progress, like, I would like it and I would want to train for that thing. So I think, you know, the best way to like you have to actually like it in some form or manner, even a little bit, to get like some progress going. So I think the first thing is to like see results. The fastest way to see results, form shooting. Like, I'm never going to go back on this. A lot of people think it's overrated. I've never taught a player how to do form shooting and their shooting has not improved. And so I'm always going to stick with form shooting. Like, what do you want me to say? So that's the first part of that. Once you start seeing the progress and like, okay, I can actually make these, I can swoosh these, you know what I'm saying? I can make 10 in a row without missing. Like, you start to feel good about it. And then, you know, you keep wanting to chase that feeling of progress. Like, once you feel good and you feel the success up front, then it becomes, about like recreating that feeling. So that's what I've noticed. Like, it's always the beginner's luck. That's why beginner's luck exists. It's to make you like the thing. And so for people that, you know, want to get good at something, get that beginner's luck. Like, do something to where it's like, oh shit, that worked. And then you're going to chase that forever. Like, that's the addicting part of it. So that's my answer for that. I can see your question. He said, how can you do conditioning while it's cold outside? Either man up or find a gym, bro. Like, I know it's cold as shit. I live where it's cold. And so the thing about it, like, the thing that people don't understand about me, and anybody can vouch for me that grew up with me. I played basketball in the cold, freezing my ass off. I had gloves. My fingertips went numb. I'm trying to dribble. I can't feel my hands. I'm shooting layups because it's hard to shoot a shot from 10 feet away when your hands are frozen. But, it's just reality of the situation. Like, you're going to find a gym or find a rec center or find some place to do it, or you just suck it up and you go outside, bro. Like, that's really, there's only so much you can do about it. And so it just comes down to like you got to just deal with what you got. Like, that's the thing that a lot of people don't like to do, is they always wait, okay, if I had this, or once I get this thing, or once I get that thing, or okay, if one day when I get, like, it's like, bro, at some point, the only way to get more is to deal with what you got. Like, that's just what it is. It's the same people that be like, man, I want to make an account online and get viral and get a bunch of followers and all this stuff, but I don't have a camera. I don't have lighting, bro. There's a light sitting right here. I just bought lighting and I've been making video for 4 years. Like, if I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, I gotta wait to get lighting. And I used to use my TV for lighting, or I'll turn the brightness up on my phone, or when it's daylight, like I'll try to get the lighting to come off the window. It's just, I wanted to make these videos, so this is what I got, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I think you just gotta make the best out of your situation and figure it out. Like, that's my honest opinion. How should I play and pick up? That's I mean, what mentality you supposed to go into pick up with? It depends what your goal is, bro. I don't know what your goal is. Like, I think the thing is, if you really want to be good, a lot of people separate, pick up. I say this all the time. Stop making everything different. Like, stop going in, okay, this is just pickup. Stop going in, okay, this is just a scrimmage. And then when you get to the fucking game, you didn't treat anything like the game. So then you get into the game and you're shook and you're scared and you can't do what you've been doing because you treated everything else as if it was below the game. And so if you're planning to play for a basketball game that's real, your mentality should be that everything is real. Every one-on-one is real. Like, people got to understand, right? And I love to talk about my own experience because I just know what I know. Like, when I was in high school, I'm telling you, I wish you should talk to the people that went to high school with me if you have the chance, or if you live in Lincoln and you see the coaches that coached me at North Star in like 2008 to 2011. I did not like playing in open gyms where people were not taking it seriously. I hated it. I hated it with a passion. I hated it in college when I went to college and we were trying to play runs and people are bullshit, and I fucking hated it. And so for me, everything is real. If you're not going to play real, I don't want to play you. I have no interest in playing a game that's not real. Like, we're not really going to compete. You're not really going to try your hardest. And then when I whoop your ass, you're going to say, oh, I wasn't even trying. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about it too, like in college, like my teammate got on my ass one time when I jumped in a game and I wasn't fully prepared. Like, I wasn't stretched. And so I told him, I was like, bro, don't throw me a lob. Like, I'm not fully stretched. First trip down court is fucking full throws a lob. And I didn't go and dunk it. So I had to just like catch it and come down. And he was like, I don't got fucking time for you to warm up. And so, like, I get what he was saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was my fault for not being prepared, but it's like, he don't want to play a game that's not for real. And that's why this fool played professional. That's why a lot of people I went to college with, I was so blessed to go to the college I went to, because, like, so many of them were so serious about it. And so, like, I was just stepping into an environment that I was craving, to where, like, this shit is for real to them. And when we play open gym, it's going to be fucking for real. Like, I was dying for that my entire high school career. And so, like, you got to figure out what you want it to be. Do you want to compete? Do you want to go ham? Like, do you want to make this shit the best it can possibly be? Everything has to be for real. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, it doesn't matter. Like, it's for real. And then if they're not going to play for real, beat the shit out of them or don't play. Like, I would work on my game, especially at the Y. If I go to the Y and the game is on bullshit, I'm getting off and I'm going to work on my game. Like, you're about to waste my time. And so that's my approach. Is it bad that I think about what to do while hooping? I've been told not to think ahead. This is a tricky question. I think that you should observe and recognize opportunity, but don't plan as if it's like, I would say don't plan too specific. I would say be like, okay, I'm going to put myself in this scenario. And so for me, it's like, I think in a way, and I think this is what a lot of players do that are really good. I think they go into it and they're like, they see a mismatch and they're like, okay, I know what to do out of that. It's like, okay, I'm going to go down to the post. Like, that's my plan. But when you get in the post, Like you can have an idea of what you want to do, but don't be set in stone of like I'm gonna do an in and out cross when I get up to this person. Like sometimes it don't work out like that. You got to read it. And so I think there's a fine line between thinking and reacting. I think the thing about it is you don't want to overthink. And so like you can go into it, you can think, but once you observe and you think and you make a decision, like you got to go with it. You can't overthink it. You can't be like have this elaborate ass plan. It's just like I'm gonna come down court and we're about to do a pick and roll, and then I'm just gonna read the pick and roll. Like that's as in depth as you want to really go, or it's like, okay, I got a big man on me. I'm gonna try to beat him with my speed. I don't know how I'm gonna beat him with my speed, but like that's the idea of what I want to do. And so I think that's how you approach it. But just don't overthink your decision. Like once you see something and you think it's the right thing to do it. If you fuck it up, learn from it. But don't go in like trying to have this elaborate, you know, fucking detailed ass like in and out cross. Okay, I'm gonna come out the screen, I'm gonna spin. Like that shit don't work. Like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like just get the situation. Okay, this is the situation. Bam, this is my decision. And then you might do a move out of that, but just like kind of shallow thinking. That's my best way to put it. Um, how can I work on shooting with pressure? Okay, so this is perfect because a lot of people ask questions that answer themselves. So like you're asking me, how do I work on shooting with pressure? Shoot with pressure. Like it's a self-answering question, and I'm not like trying to make you feel dumb. Like I hate when I come across like that, but I'm trying to make people understand. It's like when you ask a question, I think you have to make your training more literal. A lot of people are not literal when it comes to training. So a lot of people be like, how do I get better at left-hand layups? Do left-hand layups. You see what I'm saying? And so I think a lot more people, because I get this all the time. I get these all the time. And I think you have to be literal when it comes to training. Literal. If you're bad at doing full speed layups under pressure, if you're bad at shooting against closeouts, do that thing. Get a partner and be like, yo, pass it to me from the block. I'm going to try to shoot it as fast as I can before you block it. That's shooting under pressure. Or you can make like a time limit. I got to make 10 threes in 1 minute. That's pressure. Like that's a time limit pressure. Like you got to lock in and make these. You know what I'm saying? Like, so figure out different ways to, put pressure under yourself, whether it's physical defensive pressure or like mental pressure of like, I got to do this thing before the time runs out or there's consequence. Like figure out different types of ways to do that. And you know what I'm saying? Like play little games with people. Like there's all sorts of games that you can play. And I think a lot of people, I think what's happening these days is there's so much content on the internet and there's so much, so many trainers telling you all these drills and all these things and all this stuff. And it takes the creativity out of, coming up with things on your own. So for me, growing up, like me and my friends, we didn't have a billion videos on the internet of like training stuff. We would go to the gym and make shit up. If we wanted to get good at and ones, we drive in, like we just play one-on-one in the post, or we drive in and like hack the shit out of each other and like try to finish a layup. We made that up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think it's, get off the internet and be creative. Like the thing about creativity, you are more creative when you have less. And so if you don't have as many resources to like pull from, you won't rely on it as much, and you have to start thinking of like, what can I do? If I give you a cardboard box and a box cutter and I say, okay, make a sculpture, you're like, damn, I gotta figure this out. I got a fucking cardboard box and I got this little ass box cutter. Like, how am I gonna do this? Right? You'll start to figure some shit out. But if I put you in the best art facility in the world with infinity things and I give you the internet, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to come up with something that's that creative. You're just going to literally like, copy someone else's shit, and it might or might not work. You know what I'm saying? So I think like figure out different ways to practice the thing that you actually want to practice. Just be super literal. Why do I personally think a lot of trainers overcomplicate workouts? Honestly, because they've never done it at a super high level. Like I really believe this, because I'm not gonna say like, I think the best way I can put it is like, I really maximized my own game. So for who I was as a basketball player, I feel as if I got to like the 99% of who I thought I could become. Like really, like I made my handle like really good, my shooting really good. I got really athletic like when I really wasn't that athletic when I was 15. Like I maximized who I was and I played against fierce competition. Like sometimes I played like shit. And you know it's crazy, like a lot of it's psychology. I thought about all the times I was like, why did I play bad in these certain environments or certain time? And then I could point to like who my teammate was in that moment. And it was like, oh, I played bad because of this person was like fucking with my mind. So that's real. I just want to point that out. That's real. But the times that I played good, like there's never a coach that could say they let me do what I needed to do and it didn't work and I was not playing well. Like there was times I had a learning curve where I might play like shit for the first week, first few games, whatever. But at some point, I figured it out. And every coach that ever coached me and that trusted me to give me minutes and like control the ball or do whatever, I performed. And so when I think about the trainers that overcomplicate everything, it's one of two. It's they never mastered themselves and they got better after the fact. Like the best I ever was when I was actually in school. It wasn't after and I learned all this shit and all this. Like no, bro, I was good at 22. I was good as fuck at basketball. That's the thing that I think a lot of these trainers miss, and so they don't understand the mastery behind it just because they didn't do it and master their own game and maximize. And I hate when I see the thumbnails or the first 3 seconds of a video. It's like, you'll never be a professional. You'll never be an NBA player. You know, blah, 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 because this and this. Like, I would never put that on you and think like you can't do it. I hate that mentality of like, okay, I can't do it. So I'm going to tell everybody you'll never be a pro because you can never. But like, I never tell anybody that can't be a pro. I'll tell you the odds, like if you're 5'1" and you're not athletic, I'd be like, the odds are you're probably not. But if you wanted to, okay, here's what I think you should do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm never gonna be upfront and be like, you can't be a pro, because I always thought I could. But I think it's it's that part, but then the other part of it is money, bro. Like a lot of trainers overcomplicate things and they make things fancy, and it's because for one, they don't believe that simplicity works. They truly don't believe simplicity works. Like they really do not believe it. And they want the clicks of the new fancy move, or they want the clicks of, feeling innovative. And I came up with this new drill that you should do. I'm putting the ball on the ground and spinning off and doing a 180 under, like, bro, like that shit, it's not real, but it gets clicks and it gets some money and it makes young, impressionable minds that are on the internet every day think that that's the way. And so they get all these people in, they get the masses in that really don't understand the game. And they're like, well, this trainer has 100,000 followers, or this trainer has 1 million followers, and they said I should do this, so this should work. And then they get to the game and they're folding and they can't figure it out. And so that's like all of that encompassing, I think, is fucking up the game. Like it's really money. And it's not to say money's bad, but they're putting it first. I put the game first. I put y'all first. I will tell you the truth. I will make 700 videos about fundamentals. That's pretty much what I've been doing. And I will get the audience off of that, because sooner or later, I'm like, people will start to back me up. The people that are the truth, like they will back me up on what I'm saying. Like I could ask any NBA player and tell them my philosophy of like simplicity, and they'll be like, yeah, that's what I did. That works. Like it's super basic, but basic doesn't sell. Fundamentals don't sell, bro. That shit don't make no money. It's all about the fancy, the innovative. Like, so that's what I feel like. Um, what is footwork and how do I train it? Um, I think this sounds like you must be really new to basketball. I think go to a basketball camp, because I can't like go into depth about it all and help you understand. It's like it's footwork. How do your feet work? You see what I'm saying? Like it's the word itself. How do your feet move? I would recommend going to a basketball camp and being taught like jump stops and pivots, because it sounds like that's a question that somebody who has never played basketball or who has very, very minimal experience, organized experience, would ask. And so I would say get around coaches, join teams, get around camps in your area, and then you'll start to learn it that way. That's my answer to that. What is your emotional state when hooping? What are you trying to feel? My emotional state is pure, like, it's steady. There's a word I can't think of right now to describe it, but it's like I'm just like still. Like for me, when it comes to hooping, I don't have many emotions. Maybe some frustration at best or joy. Like I go through a little bit of ups and downs, but I'm not overly emotional. I'm not, overly joyous when I score 10 points. I'm not running on the court beating my chest because I scored 10 points. Like, you know, um, I think for me, I'm just like rock steady focused. Like I know how to get into the zone better than most people. Like I could probably go to an open gym right now and and at some point within that open gym, I will get into the zone just because I know I don't react. Like I'm non-reactive. So that's kind of the best way I can put it is just, I don't like, I don't know. I don't really feel much. I'm just there. I'm in the moment. Like I'm so mindful and in the moment and so focused that like nothing matters. Like the second I shoot a shot and the ball leaves my hand, I'm already thinking, okay, is it off? Is it going in? Like, okay, it's about to go in. Where do I need to go? Like, do I gotta press? Where's my guy at? If it's about to miss, which direction it's gonna go? Like I'm trying to read who's getting the rebound. Like I'm always in the moment of exactly what's happening. So there's not really much emotion because the emotion takes that away from me and it robs my ability to pay attention to what's going on. And so the best way I can put it is like pure stillness and poise of like what's going on. And the funny thing is, I asked my sister one time, we were talking about like one of my games or something, and she said the way she described me playing, and this is when I was in college, she described it as like when she watches me, it looks like I know exactly what I'm doing. And I was like, that's the crazy way to think about it. But that's what she said. She said it looks like when you play basketball, you know exactly what you're doing. And so I think that just means like I'm so in the moment that I can calculate everything that's going on the best of my abilities just based on I have so much experience and studied so much film and all these other things. But yeah, that's kind of how I approach it. Um, how tall are you? I'm 6'2.5" with shoes, and my position. I played point. I was my best at point guard, but a lot of coaches tried to move me around. So I played everything, but in reality, when I think back to like when did I play my absolute best for teams, it was when I was at point guard and I had a coach that trusted me and let me make mistakes. Like the biggest flaw, the biggest mistake I think my varsity coach made when I was in high school is that they were trying to play me at the four because I was so athletic and I was so good at rebounding at that time. Like when people see me rebound and how I play around the basket, they automatically want to put me at four. But then other coaches see me and how I control the ball and like how I pass it, and they're like, "Oh, he should play the point." And so there's these two different perceptions, but depending on who the coach is of like who I am as a basketball player. And I think one of the coaches vouched for me to play point guard my senior year, and then I only got like 3 or 4 days of opportunity. And if you know anything about like going from post to guard, it's so hard in that first week when you've been playing post, and it's like it's a different mindset. It's a different, you play more heavy and sturdy, and like you got to bump people a lot, and so you're moving like a tree. But if you're playing the guard, you got to fucking move like a cat. Like it's just real. And so when I made that transition, I was making so many mistakes at the beginning, and my coach just wouldn't let me fight through that to see it through because I had the ability. Because the year before, like I had to play JV, I was playing point guard for 30 minutes a game. And so it's like it's it's not as if I couldn't do it. It's just there's a learning curve when you switch positions. And I'm so adaptable that it's like if I have to play the post, I will play the post and I will look like a real post. If I have to play the guard, I will play the guard and look like a real guard. It's just I need the time to adapt to it. And so I think that was the number one thing that held me back in high school was just I didn't get the opportunity to make the mistakes that I needed to make in order to come into my skill set and perform how I know how to perform. And so, yeah, that's my position, whatever you need me to be. But I like point guard the best. Um, who do you think are the best trainers beside you? That's a funny question. Uh, I don't really watch the trainers. To be honest, if I'm being honest, bro, I don't watch trainers because I don't believe in drills half the time, like in talking about moves half the time. Like I made a full one-on-one video in my academy, and it's an hour and a half, and I don't talk about moves. I don't talk about drills. There's just an understanding of how to attack. And so I'm a philosophy based person of like there's a certain set of things you have to know in order to be good at attacking. That has nothing to do with moves, has nothing to do with drills. And so I think I am the total opposite of 99.9% of online basketball trainers. Therefore, I do not watch them because it irritates me, and I don't want to feel like a hater. Like if I see videos of trainers and I watch them and I'm just like, oh my God, bro, like another cross jab video. How to do a cross jab. Like the most fucking popular video on the internet for the 50,000th time by the 10,000th trainer. That shit frustrates me. And so I don't watch it. And so I don't have an answer for who I think is the best. I think, a lot of them are full of shit. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, I try not to watch. Bro. So I don't know. And I don't consider myself a trainer. I'm a coach first. Like I've been coaching team basketball for the last 4 years. So should I go into the game saying I need 5 points per quarter, like making challenges or goals to myself, or is that overdoing it? I think going to the game, try to win, bro. Like the thing about me, bro. The thing I know about high level scores, like, and there's some players that can like go into a game with the goal of scoring and like score. But I think for the best scorers ever, when they get to a point where it's like, I want to win, winning trumps everything. And then you get good at recognizing opportunities to score. There's infinity opportunities to score, like without having to think about, okay, I got the ball, I'm about to get a bucket. There's infinity opportunities outside of that to score the ball, and it's just because it's the right decision or it's the right read or it's the right moment. And if you can recognize those, you will score 20 points. Like it's the thing that most people don't understand is like when you're trying not to score and you just play the game, if you have the skills, you will score. When somebody kicks the ball out to you and you have space, it's just the right thing to do to shoot it and make the three. If you can make the three and you make 4 of those because people don't close out well enough, you got 12. If you're good enough at running on the fast break and you get the outlet pass, you can get 3 of those, you're up to 18. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't think you have to go in thinking points. I don't really like that approach. I've never liked that approach. I've seen like a handful of box scores in my entire life. And there's a lot of times where I've been the leading scorer on my team. But the only thing I think is just if you play the right way and you have the skills and you know how to score, opportunities will present themselves to where you don't have to think about that. Like that's how I think you should approach it. I think just try to win. Winning trumps everything. What's a routine for mental practice that you recommend? I think so. I'm a different person for me personally. And I heard Kevin Durant say this. Like people like, hey, do you do anything before the games or anything specific? He's like, no, I'm just hanging out. I'm chilling. I might be on the game or whatever. And I just show up. Like that was my approach. Like there was nothing I had to do before the game to get myself ready because I feel like I just live in the moment so much. And I think it's like when Steve Kerr had that quote of, you play basketball the way you live your life. I 1000% believe that shit. Because for me, I didn't overthink my life in general. I wasn't like, I had insecurities sometimes, but like, I'm trying to think, bro. Like, I had minor insecurities, but they never stopped me from living my life. But I never had major insecurity to where it's like I go into an environment and I'm super insecure in myself. You know what I'm saying? And so that took away so much of me having to do anything mentally to prepare myself for the games. It was just like at all times I felt prepared. Like, you see what I'm saying? But I think the way I got to that, I think you have to you have to figure out a way to free yourself, like, of any pressures, whether it's parental. And I got lucky because, like, my mom never mentioned one time if I had a bad game. So, like, I didn't have anything bad going on mentally. I think the only struggles I had was just when my coach wouldn't trust me. Like, that was the only struggle I ever had. But for practices, I think you got to know who you are and you got to try different things that work for you. And so in reality, if you want to like be mindful or have some sort of peace, going into games, I think just trying different things, bro. Like you might, what I'm saying, not talk to anybody an hour before the game. It's like, I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to hear nothing. I'm going to be off in, the middle of nowhere sitting at a park bench. And then when it's time to show up to the gym, I just pop up and that's how I get ready. Or it's like I'm talking to people and I'm having fun, or I'm playing video games to relax, or reading books, or like listening to music. I think everybody is different. And so I think you got to figure out what works best for you if you really want, to have peace of mind when you jump into the arena. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just an in the moment type person. Like right now, I'm in the moment. As soon as I get off this live, I got to write up, workouts. I got to do film study on different players. I got to make videos for my TikTok. But like right now, I'm just in this moment. Like all that other shit does not matter. I have a billion things to do, but right now I'm doing this. And so I think living in the moment is the best mental practice, and meditation works for 1,000%. But other than that, I think like try to figure yourself out and try different things of like, okay, I like this. This makes me feel relaxed. Like think about the times that you went into a game and it's like, okay, I went to this game and I felt perfect. What did I do before this game? Like for me, I would mash a box of Sour Patch Kids before every game, in the locker room, just like bash an entire bag and then run on the court. Like that's me, you know what I'm saying? There's times I ate a hot dog at halftime because I was starving. I think it's just, I don't know, bro. Like I have so much fun playing. I think I never had like a mental practice, but yeah, you just got to figure yourself out and try. How many makes should I make after team practice? There's no perfect answer to that. As many as you need to make or you want. What do you look at while shooting? I don't look at anything specifically. I just, jab cross drill. Never. I'm never doing a jab cross video. I'll do a jab cross video when I get to if I get to 1 million followers. I'll do a jab cross video. Just to laugh at it. What I look at when shooting, nothing. I don't look at anything specific. I just look at the rim and I let that shit fly. How should we train? I don't know, bro. Like these vague questions. Everybody's different. You have to try different shit. Like you should train focused and train and have fun and right outside of your comfort zone. You shouldn't be super comfortable doing things. I'm not saying you shouldn't do drills. I'm just saying like drills aren't the end all be all. Like I know people that have done every drill in the book and they can't beat their defender because they don't have an understanding of philosophy and biomechanics. You see what I'm saying? And so drills have to be specific and literal, depending on what you're working on. So if you want to work on a 1 dribble pull up, you shouldn't be doing 180 jump shots. You see what I'm saying? Doug, you give a shout out to Hans Stone. I'm friends with Hans. That's funny. Yeah, but like I like Hans. I fuck with Hans. I'm about to call him later today and tell him that he got a shout out on my YouTube live. But yeah, bro, it's and this is why I don't make a Discord server. I think a lot of people don't know what they're talking about genuinely, and it's not because they're dumb or whatever. They just don't know what they don't know. It is what it is. So I don't want to make a Discord because then a lot of people who just start chatting who don't know jack shit, and then they're telling people wrong information that are part of my audience, and it just gets away from like learning from me. Not that I'm the center of the universe or whatever, but I want to be the one teaching. You know what I'm saying? I don't want other people teaching other people in my community because it causes confusion sometimes. I've seen that in the basketball community where it's like a player who thinks they know something and they tell the other player this advice and it's like, I don't think that's going to work. But you see what I'm saying? So my thing to eliminate as much confusion as I possibly can in my community, I want to be the only one giving out the information. And if you know anything about, this is a side note, the reason that is because media and attention and information is like the most important thing in the world. And so when people take over a country or people take over any whatever society, they immediately control the media. The media is always first. So the media is most important. The person communicating is most important. The person writing is most important. And that's why I said on my Instagram the other day, like writing and communicating, the two most important skills in life. I'm building a platform based on writing and communicating. My entire platform is based on those two skills. Like I'm really good at communicating and I'm really good at writing. That's how I'm building my audience. And I get value. So yeah. uh, should I do the mic in if I'm not a true beginner anymore? The mic in is not. I'll break down the mic in. The mic in, and I call it the Kyrie drill now because I changed it from mic in to Kyrie because I think it makes more sense when I say do the Kyrie drill. There's different types of layups. Like that in my mind, that's the mic in. It's like I'm working on different types of layups, not just like basic. So you can do the mic in or the Kyrie's, that's what I'm calling it. But you can change it up. So now you might be doing up and unders each way, up and under. Like just practicing that. Okay. High hook shot layups. You just practice that's your shit right there. Underhands. Okay, I'm doing underhands from outside the block. Like that's my you know what I'm saying? And so change it up and whatever you're deciding to do in the moment, do a lot of that in high volume and then change the layup. You don't have to always do the most basic layups. I think that's more of like a warm up now. But yeah, that's my answer to that. How would you say the best way to better your handle is? Dribble a lot. Dribble. There's only specific types of dribbles. There's in and out. There's crossover in front. There's between the legs, but it's behind the back. There's spin. There's like wrap around behind the back. There's only so many different types of dribbles that exist, and so it's like do those ad nauseum, and then everywhere you go, dribble a basketball, and then sometimes dribble two basketballs. You know what I'm saying? Just dribble the shit out of the ball, bro. And like when you do um when you do certain things, it's like spam it. So in and out cross, spam the shit out of in and out cross as hard as you can, and um, really get into it and like dribble as hard as you can without looking at the ball. Like that's how I can talk about it. What's up out in London? That's crazy, dude. Shout out to London, man. I really want to come out there. I don't know what it's like, but I just want to go out there just to see what it's like. What's the basketball culture like out there? Do I have a video on the Kyrie drill? I actually do have a layup tutorial on my YouTube. So, how to structure a great workout. Basic form. Basically, do this is how I did my. This is the order in which I did things. I'd always warm my body up, run up and down a little bit, get loose, and then I would always do dribbling first. I'd always do layups second. I'd always do floaters third. I'd always do form shooting. I'd always do spot shooting. I'd always do dribble pull up shooting, and then if I had a specific move or whatever I needed to work on, I would do that with shooting. And so that's my personal structure. And spam it. Pick one thing, do it 100 times. Next. One thing, 100 times. Next. And it doesn't always pertain to like one specific crossover. But like over the days and weeks, if you have the same dribbling routine, like I had the same dribbling routine pretty much my entire life, which I'm actually going to make a video for and make it free because I haven't made anything free in a long time. And so my dribbling, you know, workout or whatever, I'm gonna make a masterclass on that. Let's answer some more Reddit questions. Okay, so this question on Reddit, it says, I don't know where to go from here. I'm 18 and I'm 6'6". I'm really good at basketball. I want to play college basketball in the US. And it's crazy that like everybody wants to test their skills versus the US. Like I've gotten a lot of messages like that where it's like, okay, I want to train and do all this stuff, and then I want to come to the US and see if I'm good. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Y'all can come out here and play well. Like we need to be copying European basketball, bro. They got the fundamentals unlocked. The only thing we have is we're insanely competitive and we're insanely confident, and that puts us over the top of everyone else. I promise you. Like if other countries, especially like small European countries or like Spain or like different places that have good basketball players that come over here and play, if their entire country like had the confidence and the competitive nature and like the almost the arrogance of basketball culture in the US, they would beat the mess out of us. Like if y'all knew how messed up our culture is over here when it comes to basketball, it's not the best, bro. Like we don't put any emphasis on like basketball IQ. We don't put any emphasis on like footwork and fundamentals and skill work and practice. Like we literally in the summers for AAU have 1 or 2 practices a week at most, and then play 6 games per weekend. 5-6 games every weekend. And so you're not even getting to practice the things you need to be successful in the game. It's just straight up game mode all the time. And so like that's why we're so competitive. That's why, we have so much confidence because we're playing so many fucking competitive games. That's the difference. But Europeans, like y'all kind of got it. Anybody overseas, the way y'all practice, like I feel like y'all are willing to do what we're not willing to do. The things I preach, most people are not willing to do, bro. If I'm being honest. That's why like there's NBA players. That's why Giannis still can't shoot. Like, why are you shooting threes and you can barely make a mid range? You know what I'm saying? But like, I've never seen a European come over here and they have bad form or bad technique or bad fundamentals. That does not happen that much. And Giannis came to the American culture at a super young age. His jump shot was better before he got here. That's the crazy. Watch young Giannis jumper. Go watch 18-year-old Giannis shoot jump shots. That's dope, bro. I actually want to. One of my goals is to go to another country and just be there for a year and train the trainers. You know what I mean? And so the people that are teaching you basketball, I want to teach them how to teach you basketball. So then it's like, instead of me teaching all the kids, it's like I'll teach a lot of kids, but at the same time, I want to teach the teachers. And so I can leave and then that place will be set up to be successful at basketball. Like that's one of my big goals, is to do that. A lot of trainers say you should do the same thing 100 times and add variability to agree with that. I think variety comes when you play the game. I don't think your training should be super, a ton of variety. Like there's a kid I trained, and last year she would not shoot in the game. She couldn't. We changed her and tried a jump shot. She wouldn't shoot jumpers in the game. In her first game this year, she hit 2 threes. Even though the coach don't want her to shoot, she still hit 2 threes going against the grain. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we didn't do nothing special. We didn't do anything crazy. It's like, here's the formula. Do these basic shots. When we work out, we did a ton of form shooting, a ton of like basic shooting. And this is every shooter that I've ever coached. Like we do so much basic stuff and then they get to the game and they're cashing. So we don't do anything that's like crazy or out of the norm. It's like, my motto is do the thing. Do the thing. That's my motto. Do the thing. Shoot it. If you can't do catch and shoot. Like there, you don't have to do no 360 one-legged nothings, bro. That's for like Steph Curry's maxed out on catch and shoot spot shots, so he can do that type of shit. Do I think I can make Giannis a 35? Yes. Yeah. If I took Giannis right now, how old is Giannis? I could turn Giannis into, I can make him a shooter. 1,000%. I'm not joking. And this isn't out of like arrogance. It's just, I know the formula. It's so simple. Don't shoot threes for a year. That's the basis of the formula. I could do that. Yeah. I can make Giannis a shooter. Easy. It would take me a year probably. It would take me, if today is, by this time next year, I can make Giannis a knockdown catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Knockdown. Do I watch European basketball? I'm actually about to start. I'm going to do a EuroLeague because I found out how to watch those games recently. So, yeah, I'm about to because I want to. I like their play style. American play style is high pick and roll. ISO bullshit for 80% of the teams. Should I go play for academy team or professional team in the Europe at 16? I don't know, bro. I don't know anything about the European system. I don't have the best answer for that. I think do what's the most exciting option. Whatever you feel better about, and you're like, this is more exciting, this seems like the thing I should do it. If you really, really can't decide, flip a coin and you'll know. Because if it lands on the wrong one, you'll go, shit, I wanted the other one. That's a little trick for you. I'll do a couple more Reddit questions. How much time am I in? I'm going to be on for like 15 more minutes. We'll go an hour strong. So this question is, can I get good at basketball within a year? So I'm not good at basketball right now. I'm wondering if I grind for a year, would that make me good enough to join the basketball team at my school? I'm 15. I haven't played since I was like 12. Catch up with, you could. I think anybody can get in a year. You do one thing every single day, 365 days in a row, you'll get good. How good? That's a different answer. Depends on what you're doing, if you know what you're doing, the type of coaches you have, trainers you have, you know. Oh, this is a good one. Um, okay, so I'm worried about my future as a basketball player. Every time someone asks me what I wanted to do, I say play in the NBA because it's really what I want to do. And the next thing they would say is if you don't make it, or why do you want to be in the NBA? That so many kids want to be in the NBA and never make it. So I'm worried about my future because they have experience and they're grown and they've seen this play out. I didn't make the freshman team and I felt like crap. Didn't make it. Even my friends would laugh at me. I mean, this is the thing, bro. And I'm gonna talk about this NBA dream shit because a lot of people really want to go to the NBA. Like I really wanted to go to the NBA. Like people that get older, they don't want to admit that they wanted to go and they didn't make it because like it's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand, like they pay these dudes millions of dollars. Do you think that shit is gonna be easy? Do you think that market is not gonna be competitive? We live in the United States. The most competitive basketball market in the world is the United States. And yes, like shit is hard, bro. It's not Everything's not set in stone. I think what people want, a lot of people they want to set out a goal and they're like, okay, how can I for sure make it? How can I 100% make? You don't know, bro. I didn't know I was going to get knee surgery when I was 18. I had no fucking idea that was going to happen. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not going to go perfect. It's not going to be like this guaranteed route because that shit is so fucking hard. It's not like it's not for the weak. If you really want to go to the NBA, like the top league, the most competitive league, then you got to do shit and you got to risk. It's risk. It's a gamble. It's really a gamble. You're playing the lottery with your athletic career. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm smart enough to know that if that shit didn't work out, there's a billion things I could do. I know I'm smart enough to figure shit out. I was smart enough to build my basketball platform online and figure out how to make a court and figure out everything you see me do. I do it myself. I say that all the time, but I know how to figure shit out. I have ability to figure shit out. And so if you really want to go to that level, there's risk that come with that. You might be year 5 into your journey and at 19 years old and like you break your foot. Are you strong enough to overcome that and heal that and train again and like go through all these things, or go through a knee injury, or go through, a year where you couldn't get a job as a professional, like you missed out on you. Like a lot of people are not mentally strong enough to go through the process and see if it's going to work without a guarantee. Like everything in your life is unknown. You have no idea what's going to happen next year. No clue. No one had any idea that streaming from your phone could make you money. No one ever knew that was going to work 20 years ago. You don't know. You don't know the future. And so you got to figure out, do you love the game or do you just want the result? Like that's two different things. For me, like my journey, I really was obsessed with basketball. Like truly. I wasn't that there was no you know, not trying to make this shit work. Like that was never an option. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you get to the end and it don't work, it's like, okay, fuck that. Well, that didn't work. I tried it though. You see what I'm saying? Like I'd rather try it, and then if it don't work, live with it. But the people that have the reason like I don't have as much regret, I don't have like regrets, or I'm not like super sad about it, because I controlled what I could control to the best of my ability. I really tried my best, like really tried my best, bro. Like to what I thought in the moment was the right thing to do, or the way I was working out. I took every rep seriously. Like you could ask anybody, they never see me take a rep off. Like I did the best that I thought I could possibly do with the information that I had and the situation that I was in, like at the time, in the moment. Obviously, looking back, it's like, oh, I should have done that. I should have done this. I should have done that. But like, I can live and be cool and be like happier than most people that really tried it, because I tried harder than the average person. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of injuries got in the way and a lot of bad coaches got in the way, which did make me angry for a little bit. Like there was a probably a 2-year period where I was like so angry and frustrated because of what my coaches did. And I had to like look back on that and be like, okay, what could I have done? Even though I didn't know in the moment, like, what could I have done differently? And it's like, oh, okay, I could have transferred. As simple as that sounds, like that wasn't even I didn't know like how much that would have changed my career. I just thought, okay, I'll stay here. I'll man up. Like that's the difference between, I think that's the difference between me and like a lot of people. Like I will stay and man up and try to fight through and like make the situation work before I just leave it. Like that's my personality. Is like I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna bitch. Like I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna fucking man up and like I'm gonna get the minutes that I think I deserve. Obviously, I should have transferred. I didn't know that at the time, and so it's just I say all that to say, bro. If you're worried about your future or you're trying to figure out if this shit is gonna work or if you really like want it to happen and you're like super unsure, just understand one thing or understand a couple things. Number one, you don't know. You have to be okay with the fact that you don't know if this is gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the thing that my mom told me when I first hurt my knee, she said basketball will always be there, and I didn't like. I'm like, okay, basketball will always be there. Like, what does that mean? Right now, me today, I can train for a year and go try out for some random leagues overseas or go to some combines. Basketball is still here for me. Like that's what she meant. So no matter what you go through, no matter the injuries, no matter the situation, no matter the whatever, the unexpected stuff, basketball does not go anywhere. There's a basketball sitting in my room. There's a rim a mile away from me that I can go shoot on and practice and get my game right and go try to play in a league. The game does not leave you. That's the number one thing I think you have to understand. And that's what will help you get through all of this is like reality, you don't run out of time unless you're like, yeah, I don't even want to say unless you're 60 because you could play in an over 50 league and just hoop. You know what I'm saying? It's not pros, but it's like it's competitive basketball. Like J. Cole went and played professional 2 years ago, like because basketball's still there for him. So I think that's the number one thing that a lot of people gotta be okay with is just you'll never know. You'll never know. How am I? I'm great. I'm great. Trying to that reminiscent shit put me in a different state. Just thinking about all of that and how hard that shit was. What was my daily life as a hooper? I don't even know, bro. Like, it was grind. There was a year. My sophomore year in college was the year I was like, I was tired, bro, because I hurt my knee. My senior year, I hurt my knee. I got the surgery. My freshman year, I came into college and I hurt it like 2 weeks in at open gym, and so it was like iffy. I didn't do my rehab right, and so I played like 8 games of a bullshit season. Then I redshirted. My redshirt year, I was just like, I'm just gonna live my life, bro. I had the freedom for the first time in my life, like without living at home and just like being able to pretty much do what I wanted. I just had a shit ton of fun my my sophomore year in college. But other than that, bro, it was work, bro. Like just in the moment work and being competitive. But I was obsessed with it, so it didn't seem like a job. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is like obsession is a real thing. It matters. It's like a drug addict, bro. Like a drug addict ain't planning when they're about to do some drugs. Like it's the first thing in their mind when they wake up. That was me. I'm about to go get some shots or whatever. How do I approach conditioning? I don't know. I run until I'm exhausted and I feel like quitting, and then I do a little bit more after that. That's my approach. Push my body and mind to the max until I legitimately feel like quitting. Like, you know that feeling in your body of like, no, like this is over. I get to that point and then I do more after that. Let's go through some more Reddit questions. How much time do I got? 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Let's do another Reddit one. How do I get the ball more? Yeah, this is a good tactical one. I've been playing basketball for years now. My biggest problem is I never seem to get the ball. I find myself open, and I don't know I have the skill, and I'm always open. But I end up getting passed to 1 to 3 times a game, mostly score off rebounds. But I'm trying to find a way to get the ball more. Getting the ball is an energy. if you want the ball, you have to feel as if you deserve it. Like this is, I think this is an underrated thing. Like for me, I always think about my career, right? Because it wasn't. I think I lived the same career as a lot of people. Of like, sometimes you start on this team, sometimes you don't play, sometimes you're the sixth man, sometimes like you're trusted with the ball, things like that. Some like I feel like I've lived every part of the basketball journey that exists almost. And I think about the times where like in most of those I could get the ball, but it's because I always felt as if I deserved the ball. And like Steve Kerr said this thing that I always knew in the back of my mind, but he said like the ball finds who it needs to find. And so if you have real skills and in your mind you feel like you deserve the ball and you're supposed to have the ball, it will end up in your hands at some point. Like there's many of times where I've gone to an open gym or I've gone to whatever and just playing with a bunch of randoms that do not know me. At some point, I get to control the ball because I feel as if I deserve to control the ball. It's an energy about me that just commands attention or that commands like control, and that's like that's the best way I can put it. And so I think for people that don't get the ball, you already in your mind don't even feel as if you deserve to have it. And so other people can feel that and they'll think, yeah, you don't deserve to have it. They don't want you to have the ball because in the back of your mind, there's a place to where it's like you're afraid to have it because you feel like you're gonna fuck up or you don't deserve it. You feel like you're not good enough to have the ball. That plays out for real. So think about that. Um, let's do a few more. How much is too much b-ball for a 12-year-old right now? Okay. Yeah, I will do a EuroLeague game breakdown. Is there a reason why NBA players play 1v1 from the post? Because posting up matters, bro. I used to play one-on-one from the post all the time when I was young with my friend. Because when you drive and you get stuck, guess what? You're in the post. How much is too much b-ball for a 12-year-old? He goes 6-7 days a week. As a father, should I tell him when enough is enough? It's my son pushing it, not me. I think I would never stop them. I think that's the luxury that I had. The luxury that I had as a kid, I was never stopped from playing the game. Like I was outside until it was dark, like dribbling the shit out of my basketball. Couldn't barely see the rim. That was all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I was never stopped from doing too much. And so if I was you, I would never stop them. Like if they wanted, this is the obsession thing that I go back to, right? Like when people are obsessive, they can't get enough. Like that's the way to be great. It's like I gotta get more of this shit. Like I need this. You know what I'm saying? Just guide him in the right direction and don't be too controlling of like what he wants to play or all these things. Because I run into the kids that are like, I have a few students like this where it's like my mom doesn't want me to play this much. My mom thinks I'm doing too much, blah blah blah. And it's like that kid is gonna resent their parents from slowing them down. Because if they don't make it and you're the one that stopped them, by the time they move out of your house, you will never have another conversation with that kid ever again. And so I think, and it's hard for me to give like parenting advice because I'm not a parent, but I work with kids all the time, like all ages. And I just think the best way to go about it is to, when they ask for help or when you see something that you think is right for them, like steer them in that direction. Like if this kid is playing obsessively all the time, maybe it's like, okay, he really likes this thing. How can I help him? It's like show him how to shoot, show him how to beat his defender. Be like, oh yeah, if you do this, like you can beat a defender, or like just kind of help him in the direction that he's going, and just don't let him go into pitfalls of like, yeah, like don't let him go into pitfalls of like he's in a bad situation or like just different the things that I wish I had, like just knowing when to change teams or knowing that a situation wasn't right for me or just knowing how to feel about certain things or make sure he's a good teammate or make sure like he's treating people the right way. I think those things are more important than the actual actions that they're taking. As long as they're not hurting nobody and doing anything harmful, I don't think there's anything wrong with being obsessive with things as a kid. Because I'm an obsessive kid. Like, and if I played a video game, I was gonna beat that shit on the hardest level before I did something else. And now I was like, okay, I beat it, I'm done. So yeah, so I think steer their obsession in the right way and just make sure things are going well, and I think you'll be all right. I don't think there's too much. Because especially if it's not like training, if it's not like you in the weight room grinding and you running sprints, I think it's fine. Uh, uh, what are thoughts on the Josh Giddey? My thoughts on the Josh Giddey situation. I'm gonna give the general thought about this. Because you got to understand one thing, right? I'll give you the perfect analogy. I'll say people will believe a lie before they find out the truth. So they will never wait for the truth. When information comes out, they believe it. Oh, this happened? I believe it. Like it's crazy. When I was younger, we never emphasized believing everything that's on the internet. Now we're in a day where everybody believes everything that's on the internet. It blows my mind. Like, how can you believe every single thing that's on the internet? It makes no sense. And so I think you have to understand how, like, okay, you know the acronym like RICE when you get hurt and you hurt your ankle and you're like, okay, rest, ice, compression, elevation. You know that same person that made it came out and said that it's wrong. That the same person that came up with RICE, the healing acronym that all these people use across the globe. That's the first people thing everything. That's the first thing everybody thinks of. Yeah, it's time for me to get off after that because stuttering now. But it's the first thing everybody thinks of is like, okay, when you get hurt, RICE, like rest, ice, compression. It's fake. It doesn't work. The same person that came up with it came out and said, this is not real. Like it's I was wrong. Like this isn't how you heal. Like you're supposed to move and let blood circulate. You're not supposed to ice an injury. You only ice for soreness, by the way, not injury, soreness. If your muscles are sore, ice, not injury. But I say that to say that even if the truth comes out, it's already too late. And that's the thing that bugs me a little bit about the situation because people don't really know. I could sit here and read all the headlines. I don't really know. I don't know what happened, right? But neither does anybody else. But it's like as soon as something hits the internet, everybody thinks it's true, and then they run with it, and all these memes and all these blogs and all this stuff. So even by the time we figure out the truth, it's already too late, bro. Like, and that's sadly how this shit goes. And I think there will come a time where everybody's gonna have to face the truth of real life. So I'm in a point to where it doesn't matter anymore what people believe, or it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? What people think, as long as I know the truth and what I was trying to do, or my intentions pure. Like, was I being a good person, or was I trying to be a good person? That's all that's important. Like, and it's gonna play out how it plays out. So that's my thoughts on it. It's just unfortunate that people don't wait and see. People are automatically get him out of the league. Last question, then I'm off. How can I get more points when the new coaches don't trust me? Shoot that shit anyway. How I recently bought my wing score program. The question of the pure shot program. Both wings. No, okay, they are different. They are different. The pure shot program is more of, it has nothing to do with around the basket. It's purely shooting. And I should put some descriptions on these things. I just kind of like put them up there. But I will probably put some descriptions. The pure shot program is like strictly shooting. There's no finishing. There's no floaters. There's nothing that has to do with like around the baskets type stuff. It's like more shooting off the dribble. There's like step back shooting. There's like crossover shooting. Different ways that I plan that out within there. And I can pull it up. Let me see. Matter of fact, really quick since I'm on here, I can go through it. Where is the workouts? Here. Yeah, it's different. It's definitely because I wanted to, and I honestly might get rid of the wing ones, which I like them. I think they're all good. Like I wouldn't put it out if I didn't think it was good. But yeah, it starts off just form shooting. Yeah, so it's all shooting, like no finishing whatsoever. Different types of. Hey, my bad. My phone died. But yeah, I'm gonna close it out, man. I like doing those. I'll probably do those every week. I want to find a good time. Probably Sunday nights. It's hard because Sunday nights, what time do I get home on Sunday night? I might do Sunday night. Sunday nights, I'm going live every Sunday night at 9:30 Central. It's going to be kind of late. But hey, it is what it is because I want to work out at the gym. So yeah, probably like 9-ish, 9:30ish. My bad for everybody it cut out on. I appreciate you all. And all the pictures in my background, the basketball book. Google it, the basketball book. There's two of them. There's a college one, there's a high school one. That's where I got them. And I took out my favorite ones. And then I put them on there. Yeah, that's it. But all right, see y'all later. I appreciate you jumping in live. Next time I do this, I'll do another one tonight. But next week sometime, I'm going to have a mental performance coach on. He does the mental performance coaching or training. I can't remember the exact title. I should know this. But he does like that kind of stuff for IMG Academy down in Florida. And so like the top athletes, you know what I'm saying? Like the top guys that are like, they're going D1 for fact, probably league bound. Like he deals with all those people and he's the mental performance coach. And so I really want to bring him on because we had a good conversation last time I talked to him. And I told him, I was like, we can go live. We can help some people. We could do a lot of things and just answer some questions. So like one of those, I'm definitely going to do that at some point and, you know, we're going to get it rolling. Later.